there, it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. Today I have this project for you. It's using one of our old favourites, Dragonfly Dreams. This is one of the very first stamp sets that I got at an onstage event, and I still love it. So it's an old favourite of mine. I'm using shimmer white cardstock to do an aqua painted background and then just some simple stamping over the top. I am using the stamparatus, and then I've just mounted it up, and I have on the inside just put a bit of stamping on the inside, and then I've used some of the faceted dots just to kind of bring it up a bit. So let's get started. Now, first things first, I must apologise for the finger. Some of you may be aware that I had an interesting encounter with a letterbox and a small dog. The letterbox was very stiff and the small dog got very excited that my hand was putting a leaflet through the letterbox, and the result is that I have a bite on my finger. Actually those two fingers, but this one is underneath the nail, so it's fine. My hand is actually fine. I've just got to be aware that I have got a bite there. I have had to have a tetanus jab, so I have been feeling a bit strange the last few days. Beginning to feel a bit better, but anyway, enough of that. Things are okay is basically what I'm saying. So, for the sample I used Pumpkin Pie, Mango Melody, Daffodil Delight and So Saffron, and I used Pumpkin Pie matte with a So Saffron card base. This time I'm going to use Bermuda Bay, Coastal Cabana, Mint Macaron and Soft Sea Foam with a Coastal Cabana matte and a Soft Sea Foam card base. And obviously I've got a piece of Whisper White to go on the inside. The first thing I'm going to do is the aqua painting on the background. Apart from anything else, I need it to dry. That's probably not going to be a problem today. It's currently about 30 degrees, so I think it'll dry quite nicely. Otherwise I'll get the heat gun out, which would be slightly ironic. So I'm just going to make sure I've got ink on the inside of my lids, and that's not yellow anymore, which it's not. So just with a piece of shimmery white, and this is cut at my usual 5 3/4 by 5.5 by 3 3/4 top layer matte, and I'm just adding some Bermuda Bay onto that bottom piece. Then just pop that there, get the Coastal Cabana, which has already got ink in the lid apparently, so that's fine. And I am overlapping a wee bit, just so there's a reasonable blend. Now, you could use watercolour paper for this. It doesn't need to be watercolour paper because the shimmer white will do quite nicely. So this is the Mint Macaron. New ink pad, need to make sure that's better. Got ink in the lid. And then again, overlap the colour and bring that up. And then, now any colours that kind of merge into each other would be lovely for this. So the world is your oyster. Need a bit more ink than that. Particularly a Soft Sea Foam is a very pale colour. So right, now I could probably do with a bit more Bermuda Bay down at the bottom, because I seem to have gone further up to the top than to the bottom. So I'm just going to overlap again and then bring this down. And the key to this is to then go all the way back up, otherwise you can end up with a line. So there we go. Right, so I'm going to pop that to one side. And as I say, I might need to bring in my heat tool, which would be slightly ironic, but we'll see. So, don't need that anymore, so I don't know why I'm keeping it out. Okay, so I've got my piece of Whisper White and my Dragonfly mounted on an E-block. And I just want my Soft Sea Foam and ink up just part of the butterfly and dragonfly, and I'm actually going to bring in a piece of scrap paper because I'm just starting my filming for the day, and I would like to try and keep my grid paper reasonably clean. Right, I have got my grid paper pinned down actually, because although it's warm, did I say warm? Although it's stiflingly hot, there's quite a breeze. I have to say, don't get into the idea that the breeze is a nice cool breeze. It's not. It's like someone's opened the oven door. It's moving hot air around is about as much as I can say. But it is a breeze nonetheless, and therefore things are blowing about. So that's then going to just go on the inside of my card, just as a bit of a kind of echo for the outside. So how are we doing? No, I'm going to have to bring in the heat gun, just in case it's not warm enough in here. So I'm actually going to bring in my magic cheese board as well. And just blitz this down. So where are we now? We're coming to the end of July, which means we've still got the two amazing July offers, which is the Designer Series Paper 4 for 3 offer on selected Designer Series papers, and also the amazing best offer in the catalogue, which is just turn that over, which is the current joining offer, which is the usual £130 for 90 of product for £99, including free shipping, but you can now add a whole colour family of ink pads in addition to that. Now a colour family of ink pads would cost you between £70 and £63, or £63 and £70, depending on how you price it up. So you're getting a best part of £200 of product for just £99 delivered. So really is one of the best offers that we've had in a very, very, very long time. So yeah, and if you were to sign up and join my team now, you would be able to order from the I know autumn winter catalogue next month, because our pre-order starts on the 1st of August. Right, so that's that. Now I don't need that anymore. So I'm going to bring in the stamparatus, because as this is wobbly, I think it's a good idea to use the stamparatus to make sure that my stamping is good, because say this is kind of wobbly stuff. I am, let's see, shall I do this in one go or two? Might be able to do it in one. So I'm going to have my Dragonfly doing that, and my Enjoy Your Day, preferably the right way up, doing that. Sorry, something's just blown over the place. Yep. Pick those up. Make sure they are well on. Actually, I'll bring it around that way because that'll be easier for you to see. And of course, I've now moved my paper. No, that's fine. Right, okay, so I'm going to use, if I can find it, there we are, my Memento Black, and just ink up both my stamps. Now, I tend with the Memento to kind of smush it around a bit and then tap, but the smushing it around, make sure, I'm going to sneeze, make sure that it's properly inked, and then the jumping up and down makes it not smudged, excuse me. Oh, excuse me! I have no idea where that came from. Anyway, right, so let's push that down. I may well have to re-stamp it, but of course that's the joy of the, oh yes, because I've put the, I'm going to move that magnet and pop it there. And actually if I just do that bit now, And then I'm going to re-ink my stamp, and I am probably going to sneeze again, so apologies in advance. I think it's just this warm weather. Don't think it's anything more exciting than that. So there is a suggestion that we're actually going to get some thunderstorms, probably starting tonight as I'm recording this, into tomorrow, which I have to say the garden could really do with. It's getting silly. Just want that a bit better. Yep, that's it. Right, so my chamois, which is not dirty, it's stained, mostly with black. You can, in fact, one of the girls I know has actually bleached hers, and I have had a suggestion, and I must try it, that if you rinse it through in washing soda, I'd suggest you wear gloves, then that helps get the stains out as well. But I haven't tried it, so I just say that. Right, let's get these away. And now, whatever else you do, do not let your magnets touch each other, because you'll never get them apart. And don't put them down on your work surface just loose, because they'll potentially smash together and break. And that means you're going to have little bits of magnet flying everywhere, which is not something I would recommend. Right, so Coastal Cabana matte. I am going to be quite generous with my glue, because this is wobbly. So I am going to be probably more generous than I would normally be, just to help stick everything down. And I'm going to make sure I get reasonably close to the edges, because those are the bits that are going to show that it's wobbly. So those are the important bits, and then just a scribble on the back. And pop that down, and of course, because it's wet glue, you've got a bit of wiggle room. And I'm going to press that down well. In fact, I might even get my big block in and pop that there. Whilst, in fact, I'll pop that up there to squish, whilst I bring in my card base. And as I say, this is soft sea foam, which is, I think, going to become one of my favourite colours. It's just such a lovely, it's almost a neutral. Now I'm going to try, there is a demonstrator over in the US who I have worked with a bit, Jenny Hall, and she just does little tiny dots of glue on her mats, and I'm going to try it and see whether it's enough. A lot of it depends on your climate as to which adhesives are best, how much you need, that sort of thing. So if you're in a humid climate, you're probably not going to find snail your best friend, unless you use masses. So there we are, a nice heavy block, does wonders for flattening out a card. And then more, again, I'm going to be quite generous with my adhesive, because the Calypso Coral, not Calypso Coral, Coastal Cabana has picked up some of the warping from the shimmer. So let's pop that down, and again I'm going to press it hard from the back, and then I'm going to bring in my faceted dots again, which are in Mint Macaron, I think Petal Pink, Blackberry Bliss and Black. Now I used the black ones on the previous one. I'm actually going to use the Mint Macaron on this one. And I used 4 last time. I'll probably use 4 again. Now I find that picking them up with a pair of scissors is probably the easiest. So I'm going to pick up one of these. I used a big black one in the middle of the Dragonfly last time, but this time I'll use a medium-sized one there, and this one here, I've got a funny smush of something, so I'll cover that up with a large gem. Oop, don't think I picked up the dot with that, so let's try that again. Yes, there we are. Yeah, we'll have that one just there, and this one I think right up. I normally like 3s, but I'm ignoring the I'm ignoring the one on the body, because that's not really one of the, I mean, I know it is, but I'm seeing it as not one of the embellishments. So pop those back in here. I've got all these beautifully organised now, and I'm keeping them on my desk so I remember to use them. It's a novel idea, isn't it? Actually use your products. So there we are. Gosh, for me that was actually quite quick. So we've got one that's really kind of bright and summery, and one that's more tranquil and cooling. And this is the one that I'm going for at the moment, because I could do with the cooling. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you don't already subscribe, it's the little button just about there. If you've got any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments below, or you can go over to my blog post, which is has all the information about this project, and that's linked immediately below in the description bar. It'll have all the products I've used and all that good stuff. If you would like to buy any products and would like to shop with me, that would be brilliant. If you use the host code, which is in the description bar below and over on my blog, remember that for every £30 you spend and use the host code, you will get a sunflower reward, and when you've got 10 of those, you get to pick up £30 of products of your choice from me. So thank you very much indeed for watching. If you've got, as I say, if you've got any questions, please leave a comment and I will get back to you in a few days. Thanks a lot.